Hello, everybody. My name is Lena Ferdizi. I am the Student Services Specialist Senior here at Glendale Community College. It is my honor and privilege to present to you guys Violet Duncan. She's here to present Native American storytelling. Before we get into the storytelling, I'd like to do a brief introduction of Violet, and then we'll give her the floor. Violet is Plains Cree and Taino from, and I'm sorry for mispronouncing these names, your tribe name, uh, Kahin Kahiwin Cree Nation, touring nationally and internationally since 1991. She has performed for audiences across the United States, Canada, and Europe through her work as a Native American dancer, hoop dancer, choreographer, storyteller, and author. Violet is a former Miss Indian World, representing all Indigenous people of North America. In 2019, Violet collaborated with Mesa Arts Center of the Public art installation Water Equals Life. This project was created to discover, explore, and celebrate the history and future of water in the valley. Since 2014, Violet has worked as the artistic director of the children's space at the Hearn Museum Guild Indian Market. After becoming a mother of four and seeing the need for Native representation in literature, she took it upon herself to author three award-winning children's books. I Am Native, When We Dance, and Let's Hoop Dance. Her newest book, I Am Native, released in 2020, shares a glimpse into the world of a wonderful world of generational Native family. This book showcases beautiful imagery and of family members passing down traditions in both traditional and modern ways. She has recently joined the family of Random House with two new children's book coming out this 2022 and 2023 year. Violet is currently the Indigenous Cultural Advisor at the Tempe Center for the Arts, where she aims to create space for a permanent program of Indigenous performance and practice. Um, Please join me in welcoming Violet.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. I really need to shorten that bio. All of the stuff on there, I feel like I have to share that everything that I'm working on because as artists, we wear so many hats. And I think I need to shorten the bio just a little bit. That talks mostly about our storytelling. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Happy Native American Heritage Month. My name is Violet Duncan. I'm Plains Cree and Taino from Kihiwin Cree Nation in Northern Alberta, Canada. I'm going to be sharing with you some storytelling, some of my children's books, some of my writing. And as a budding writer, I also want to share a little bit of my writing style with you, how I have gone from self-published to traditionally published. So if anybody is on that path in their writing or in the future, or if they have a story, I definitely open up the Q&A that we'll have after to storytelling and writing and literature and all of that good stuff. So I thank you so much for being here and allowing me to share my stories. Traditional storytelling is something that has been passed on from generation to generation. My grandparents are incredible storytellers. My parents are incredible storytellers. I have four children, and one of them has taken up the skill of storytelling. So Manaya is my eldest, and we have been able to give her the microphone at 5 years old. And for the very first time, she needed to introduce herself because she won Tiny Tot Princess for Kihiwin Powwow. And that was her very first official opportunity to learn how to introduce herself with the traditional language. And she wanted to share more when she had that opportunity. So we taught her the story of the woman's jingle dress dance. And she learned that story, and we all learn in different ways. Now, some people learn by hearing the story over and over and over again, like I do. I love hearing it, and I love hearing, when a storyteller tells their story, sometimes they miss parts and bring it in here, and I love to kind of get full picture. But Manaya, even at 5 years old, they wanted it all written out and read, and she had questions about the community, questions about the elder, And then when Manaya got the full picture, she was able to share it. And today they are 13 years old, and they tell the story of the woman's jingle dress dance during our presentation. And now she's gone on to tell traditional trickster stories. She's mostly comfortable telling just portions of it. So I'm the narrator, and they continue telling their part. But it's really, really beautiful to learn that storytelling does not have to be around a campfire and something that's done, only on a social setting. Storytelling can be used everywhere. When we're having difficulties in school, we hear the stories of how our culture, our history is everywhere in the songs and the dances and nature. When we are struggling at home, maybe you're a child and you don't want to do your homework or you don't want to do the chores. We bring in trickster stories. What happens when trickster doesn't want to do his fair share, doesn't want to clean up after himself, eats everybody else's food? What happens to trickster? And they're incredible teaching tools that we use in my home, that I've used since I was a child, because you get to hear the different perspectives. And of course, it's really helpful as a parent, I've learned now, or as a caregiver, because it gives an opportunity to also look at it from a different perspective. Like what was trickster thinking? And my kids ask great questions that I never thought of. And I think that it's really cool that storytelling kind of encompasses all these beautiful areas of teaching and growing and learning. And so I've continued it in my writing journey. And I'm starting to write a couple of other books. I have two children's books, as she mentioned earlier, with Penguin Random House. I actually have one more middle school book. It's actually going to be young adult. And so I have three books coming out, and then I'm working on my next writing. And basically, when I'm writing, I have no idea who my audience is. I wish I had a better clear cut, this is for these kids. But all I know is, as an Indigenous person, we need to get our stories out there. We need to tell our stories authentically through our own perspective, our own history. And so when we tell them, you don't have to like imagine which age group this is going to, which classroom is going to use this, because when you have your experience out there, it will kind of naturally occur who this is for. And most of the time, it's our young people need to hear this story. And then, I mean, youth is now considered 30 and under, so our young people can be considered up to 30. But when I wrote my latest children's book called I Am Native, I have one page in there that had my grandmother in there. And when I showed her the page, she was so happy to see that, to see herself in the picture, to see herself included. And it made me realize, wow, even our elders need to see themselves accurately represented. So it's not just our children and our young people or adults, it's our elders, all of the ages. We all need to see ourselves as we are, authentically, beautifully, in our community, accurately represented in literature. And so I invite you, or I challenge you, to bring out your writing, bring out your artwork in any form, through dance or music, and to write it and create it as authentically, because having your voice just the way it is exactly what we need. I just want to show with you a couple of my books. These ones I've self-published. My very first book that I wrote is called When We Dance. This one is about a mother and a daughter, and she hands down the story, the gift of dance to her daughter. And of course, it was at a time when I was a young mother, and I was sharing dance and what it means to dance with my now Manaya. And so, oh, I turned right to the cover page. That's funny. And I did the illustrations and I wrote the children's book. And when I first wrote it, I had no idea who I was writing it for. I just wrote a beautiful story. And it was actually my husband that encouraged me to turn it into a book. And I said, well, who's going to do the illustrations? Because I can't draw or color. And I mean, I learned about the wonderful tool of Photoshop. And so I was able to Photoshop some of these really beautiful images that I captured of my children and some travels that we were doing. And this is my first book, When We Dance. I'm really happy with that book. The next book I wrote, because that was celebrating Indigenous motherhood, I needed a book. We tried to find books that were out there of fathers, and especially Indigenous fathers. And so I wrote Let's Hoop Dance. It has my husband and my son, Naichi, and they're learning how to hoop dance in this book and everything that goes into it. But more important to me was that they were in their workout clothes, just basketball shorts and a t-shirt, that they were having a moment, that there was no formal instruction. There was just dance and movement and learning and simple questions. It was basically a day in the life of Naichi, and he practically wrote it because I was like, what would you say if daddy said this? What would you think? And so that's why I wrote this one. And I'm really happy because this one won the award of Best Book Award in 2015, I believe, when that came out. My last book. Now, when I had written When We Dance, it was kind of in the past, which is what I didn't want to have for our books. And then Let's Hoop Dance was very future forward. And a lot of the people who were reading my books were saying, I didn't know you guys like lived in regular houses, and I didn't know you wear basketball shorts when you practice. And do you also like have other things that are modern? And we are still being asked these questions today. Yes, we live in homes. Yes, we drive cars. Yes, we have mortgages and rents due. And yes, we are students and scholars and educators and chefs and dancers. And so this book I wrote that talked about, this page in particular has a musician on both sides. We're learning about the Native American flute, and then we learn here about the acoustic guitar. And it's side by side here as an educator learning from Papa and learning from the teacher. And it was really important that I share this with educators, that we live in two worlds when we go out into the world, that we practice our culture in all its forms. And then we're also ballerinas and we're also jingle dress dancers. So this one also won in 2020. It won the International Best Book Award. And I was really happy about that. And then as I was doing my children's hair, I wanted to say how beautiful your hair was, but I want to say it in Cree. And when I was learning my language, I know how to say basic introduction. I know how to say that it's good and that come sit down, come have some tea and basic instruction, but I didn't know how to say anything really beautiful to my children. And of course, when I was younger, I even learned all the naughty words to say, like to go away and to leave me alone and all that stuff, and worse. And so I wrote this last book here. It's still in its developmental phase, but this one is full of beautiful phrases in the Cree language that we can say to our children. So this is what it looks like for phase 2 after you're done writing and coloring the pages. And I just want to share a couple of the pages. This is the painting that I made. And then this is the word here, and it says Kisagitin. And in Cree, it means you are loved by me. And those people who read in syllabics, this is how you phonetically say Kisagitin. And it's there. And my favorite page, though, I'll just jump to it before we start storytelling, is this page. And this is daddy and nephew, son, cousin, or uncle. And this is him braiding his hair. Ni sagitin, ka sigaiko, ikonosquin, igua ka sisak pawatatan. I love to brush your long, strong hair and braid it for you with love and care. And so for any people who are trying to learn their language, maybe you go down this path too, and you try to just have phrases, because we need to learn how to say loving and beautiful things to our children, to our cousins, to our nieces and nephews. And that's what I wrote this book for. And because of the pandemic, there's like a paper shortage. So I'm not getting my books reprinted right now. So this one is just kind of sitting on the shelves waiting for its turn. But I'm really excited because this one is actually going to be a board book, and it's going to be able to be a little bit smaller, and it's going to fit those tiny hands. So our young caregivers can speak in their language and say wonderful things like that. And there's also, I love how you sing and dance. So storytelling, writing, all forms, all ways. And yeah, that's a little bit about my journey in writing. Now I'd like to share with you the creation story right now. We'll begin at the beginning. And then after, I want to share with you the creation story from the Cree Nation. Now, this creation story I'd like to share with you comes all the way from the Haudenosaunee people from northeastern part of Turtle Island, and the Ojibwe, I mean, not the Ojibwe, the Mohawk Nation. So the Haudenosaunee is made up of 6 nations, and in Canada, we have the Mohawk nations. That's one of the 6 represented. And this is where I learned this story from. And it's basically how Turtle Island, how Canada, United States came to be. Gaias a long time ago, or I don't want to say Gaias. Gaias is actually in Cree. I want to just begin a long time ago. Long, long time ago, the whole world was covered in water. Sky Woman was living high above with her family, and she was pregnant with her first child. She was so happy to be having new life come from her soon any day. And of course, as many pregnant women that are out there, you'll find that they are always looking for a snack. And so she was gathering different roots and herbs, and she was digging. And as she dug down from the roots from the tree of life, the sweetest roots were deep into the ground. She noticed a beautiful blue shimmering light. Ooh, this is so beautiful, she thought. And she dug and she reached to try and go down to gather this gem. She couldn't reach it so well. So as she was pulling apart, she was gathering the roots and putting them there into her satchel. And as she reached down, she didn't realize that she had dug a great hole, and the weight of her belly pushed her down to the hole. And she fell down, which was then into our world, right into a world full of water. It just so happened that there was a group of geese that were flying by. Honk, honk. Who is that? Honk, honk. That looks like that looks like a sky being. Honk, honk. What is she doing? She has no wings. Honk, honk. Oh no, we better catch her. Honk, honk. Ah, she's too heavy. Honk, honk. All the geese were deciding, and she was yelling out, help me, as she was falling into our world. She's asking for help, honk, honk. We gotta go help her, said the geese. And so they all flew down into the flying V, and Sky Woman rested on their wings. Honk, honk, she's so heavy. I won't be able to hold her very long, honk, honk. Where should we put her? They looked all around, and there was water everywhere. I don't think she could be part of the water land, they said. She doesn't have any fins. Where do we put her? I don't know, honk, honk, said the other goose, but I'm getting tired. We need to put her down now. Just then a giant turtle rose from the ocean. Ah, come here and put her on my back, said Turtle. Oh, good, said the geese, and they laid down Sky Woman. And she went on the back of the turtle, and she looked around, and all she could see was water everywhere. And she started to cry. Why do you cry there, woman who falls from the sky? Asked the turtle. I'm crying because I'm going to have my child soon, and I can't have her and raise her in a world that is solely of water. Mm, I can help you, said the turtle. If you gather a little bit of earth, I see there that you have the roots. You can plant those roots on the back of my shell, and it could be a land that you can live on and raise your child. Could you? Could you do that? She grabbed the roots out and she looked. How am I supposed to find any soil? There's no earth anywhere. Just then, beaver and otter and all of the different water beings came to the side of Turtle. We can help you. We've seen you fall. We can help you find the earth here to help you plant your roots. Oh, thank you. But where is it? I've seen it, said Beaver. I've seen the earth way at the bottom. It's deep, but I know I can help you get it. Oh, thank you, said Sky Woman. And Beaver went down first. He held his breath and he swam and he swam and he swam and he was so close to getting the little bit of earth, but he was running out of air too quickly. And so he swam back up. He said, he came up and said, I can't do it. It's much too deep. No one will be able to do it. Otter came. I can help you. I am a stronger swimmer than Beaver. And Otter took a big breath. And Otter swam and swam and swam and swam, and she almost grabbed a little bit of earth. And then she too was running out of air, so she came back up. Ah, I cannot do it. It is too far. Nobody can go, for I am the best swimmer here. I can help. Who said that? They all looked around. All the big animals were hiding her. I can help. I am back here. A little muskrat came swimming to the side. I have seen also the earth at the bottom. I have good lungs, and I'll help you swim to the bottom. You're too small, said Beaver. Yeah, said Otter. You won't be able to get them. We need to find another plan. I can help you. I know that I am small, but I wish to help you, Sky Woman. Let him try, said some of the animals. Yeah, let him try. If you could try, that would be wonderful, said Sky Woman. And so Muskrat took a big breath. And he swam and he swam and he swam, and soon the lungs and the air in his lungs were starting to leave, but he caught sight of the earth and he grabbed a little bit of soil and he went swimming way back up to the top. But just when he was near, the last bit of air had left him. His little body came to the top of the water and he floated there. Oh no, said Sky Woman, and she grabbed him and held Muskrat close to her. Here she saw in his little paw was that little tiny bit of earth. Oh, Muskrat, she said, what a kind and brave thing you have done. We will sing songs and tell stories in your honor, for you have given your life for this little bit of earth for me to continue. And still today, we acknowledge Muskrat. We acknowledge Muskrat in many of our songs and our dances that we do on the coast. And she grabbed a little bit of earth and she had a little bit of the roots from the tree of life. And she started to sing the song. And when she sang the song and she did the shuffle dance on the back of Turtle, all of the trees and the grass started to grow from the back of Turtle. And she could see the food that was growing that she'll be able to nourish her child. And she was happy. As Turtle was being covered in the earth, Turtle said, as long as you remember that I am here, just as I am taking care of you, you must remember to take care of me. Oh, yes, said Sky Woman. I will tell my children and my grandchildren when they come, and they will tell their children and grandchildren to always take care of our first mother, our Mother Earth. And this is the story of Turtle Island. Thank you so much for hearing that story. This is one of my favorite stories that comes from out east. I loved hearing all the creation stories. We have creation stories from almost every single nation and tribe, and it's really beautiful to hear the stories of how some nations come from shells, some nations come from the water, some nations come from the clay. And it's really, really good to understand that because it's our sense of belonging that we as a people have always been here, that there wasn't a landmass that we came through, that we have our creation stories, we have our history of how we came to be here. And that beautiful story is from the Haudenosaunee Nation. Um, okay, good. We have a little bit of time for my last story that I would like to share with you. It's called How Trickster Lost His Eyeballs. It's my very, very, very favorite story of all time. I tell my parents, even now, I'm almost 40, and I'm telling my parents, can you tell it again? Can you tell it again? And my children have heard it a million times now, and actually they are telling it back to me in our dance presentations that we do. They take the mic and they're one is a bear, one is a wolf, one is trickster, and I'm just the narrator. So I think it's really cool to see how our stories are evolving and becoming these really beautiful things and taking a life of their own. So Gaia, do you guys know who Trickster is, by the way? No? Yes? Well, do you know who Bugs Bunny is? Do you know who Wile E. Coyote is? Those are our modern day tricksters. Those are the ones who remind us of what not to do. So Bugs Bunny will always trick the hunter into thinking that it's not rabbit season and that he has no right to kill him. And he'll throw a black dot on the ground and disappear into his rabbit hole, or Wile E. Coyote will go flying off of a canyon and splat on the ground. But instead of dying, he just kind of turns into a pancake and wobbles off. That's like our trickster. He never dies, but he actually never learns the lesson of why you need to be kind and why you need to be considerate. And a lot of times, as we hear these stories, we're often on trickster's side for a long time because his reasoning does have a little bit of truth to it. But if you think with kindness, empathy, respect, that we are not in a pyramid, that we are all equal and that we should be taking care of each other, that's how we learn as human beings to take care of one another, because trickster is always very, very greedy. And so sometimes my children will say, I don't know, I kind of agree with Trickster. But Trickster, it never really works out for him or for her. Trickster is a shapeshifter. And in many stories, Trickster is raven, coyote, rabbit. Um, Today he's coyote. So Gaius, a long time ago, Trickster was walking in the forest. The sun was shining, the river was flowing, and the grass was growing. And Trickster was looking for food. He was so hungry, he wanted the food to just fall into his stomach. And then he heard a sound. He moved the branches across, and there was a giant standing on a hill. And that giant was singing this song. His eyeballs popped out of his head, spun around, and took off. He started talking about all the many things he could see, the people of many different colors, the birds and animals he'd never seen before. And then Giant sang that song again. His eyeballs popped back in his head. Oh, said Trickster, I need to learn this trick. This is the best trick I've ever seen, he said. He started to run up the hill. Hey, look down here, Giant. Look down here. You need to show me this trick. This is the best trick I've ever seen. And Giant looked down. Oh, hello there, Trickster. It is a beautiful day. Goodbye now. And just when he was about to take a step away, Trickster grabbed his leg. No, 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 don't go. You need to show me this trick. This is the best trick I've ever seen. Ah, you want to send your eyeballs? Well, first you need to learn the story. And then I need to teach you the lesson. And then I will teach you the song and you will get this rattle. Oh, I don't need to learn all that. I already know the song. Here, let me see your rattle. Okay. Giant handed him down his giant rattle and it shrunk down to Trickster's size. And Trickster sang that song. His eyeballs popped out of his head, spun around, took off. He started talking about all the many things he could see, the people of many different colors, the birds and animals he'd never seen before. And then Giant sang that song again. Eyeballs popped back in his head. Oh, I need to show all of my friends this trick, he said. He went running down the hill. Wait, just squash, said Giant. Listen here. You need to know that you can only sing this song 4 times in one day, from sunup to sundown. If you sing this song more than 4 times, for sure, you will lose your eyeballs. No problem. 4 times, one day, I got it. I know everything. And he started to run down the hill. And just as he was ducking into the branches, he said, Trickster, remember, you've already done it once today. Are you listening? And Trickster said, of course, 4 times one day. You think I don't know? Geez. And he was running through the bush. And just then, boom, he bumped into Bear. Bear said, Rawr! And Trickster said, no, no, don't eat me, don't eat me. Bear said, I'm not going to eat you. You just scared away all the fish here. How am I supposed to feed my family? Trickster looked down and realized that he was standing there scaring away all the fish in the stream. Oh, I'm sorry, Bear. Hey, I can help you. I can help you. I can tell you where all the fish are. I can send my eyeballs and tell you where they all are. Bear thought. His tummy rumbled. All right, show me this trick. All right, it's going to be the best trick you ever seen. Eyeballs popped out of his head, spun around, took off. He started telling Bear about all the different fish that were out there. The salmon and the pickerel and the rainbow and the regular trout. All the fish he could see. His eyeballs went from stream to river, river to ocean. He said he could even see Free Willy. He said he could see Free Willy 1, 2, and 3. And then he sang that song again. Eyeballs popped back in his head. Said Bear, that's a good trick. You need to show everyone that trick. And Trickster said, yeah, I know. And then he went walking off. Who am I going to show my trick to next? He thought. And then he heard, ow, like totally, ow. It's Sister Bear, Sister Bear, Sister Bear. Sister Wolf, you got to see this trick. And Sister Wolf was over there. Oh, Trickster, like talk to the paw because the jaw don't give a da. Sister Wolf, you gotta see this trick. This is the best trick you're gonna see. You gotta see it. Oh, trickster, if it'll get you out of my fur, then show me this trick already. All right, watch closely. The best trick you'll ever see. His eyeballs popped out of his head, spun around, and took off. He started telling Sister Wolf about all the other wolves that were out there, the gray wolf, and the black wolf, and the red wolf, and the stoic white wolf of the north. And then he sang that song again. His eyeballs popped back in his head. Like, OMG, trickster, you need to show everyone this trick. This is the best trick I've ever seen. Like, slay, trickster, slay. Ow! And Trickster and Wolf went off. And Trickster was standing there feeling pretty cool about his trick. And he decided, I think other people will find me now, he thought. But there was no one else left in the bush. And he was looking all around and he heard, hey, brother, sister birds, come down here. I have a trick to show you. No, 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 I'm not going to eat you this time. Just come here on this branch here. Come watch closely. This is the best trick you'll ever see. Better than that one. Good, come close. I bet you guys didn't know you could understand a bird, hey? Very complicated language. His eyeballs popped out of his head, spun around, and took off. He told those birds about all the different trees that were out there, the palm tree and the cactus, the maple tree and the oak tree, trees that you can build two nests instead of one. And then he sang that song again. His eyeballs popped back in his head. Trickster, that's the best trick we've ever seen. But you know what? I bet you can see farther than Eagle. And Eagle was given the gift of far sight from the Creator. Yeah, I can see farther than Eagle. I can see farther than anyone. Bring 'em on. What? You mean you want us to bring Eagle here to you? Oh, yeah. Tell him we're going to have a see-off. The birds flew off. Trickster was feeling very confident in his trick, and he decided that Eagle can come and find him. But as he was sitting there, a small black dot emerged in the sky and started to circle him. The eagle came down. Hey, trickster, what's this I hear that you can see farther than I? I was given the gift of far sight from the Creator. Yep, I can see farther than you. I can see farther than anyone. All right, show me this trick. All right, if I gotta show you, showing everybody else this trick today. Might as well. Started to stretch a little. Come on, I haven't got all day, said Eagle. All right, be patient. You know it's a virtue. His eyeballs popped out of his head, spun around, took off. He told Eagle about all the many things he could see, the people of many different colors, birds and animals he'd ever seen before. He told him about all the stars in the sky, all the planets that danced around a great star. His eyeballs went flying down way far east, so far east he saw the horses running with black and white stripes on them. They wrapped all the way around the world, and Eagle was looking and searching. And it was true. Trickster could see farther than him. And as he was saying all those things, Trickster sang his eyeballs back. They looked around. Hey, Trickster, where are your eyeballs? Oh, they're so far away that they can't even hear me anymore, said Trickster. Do you guys think you can help sing those eyeballs back? Wherever you are? I think we can. You don't have to unmute, but you can sing it wherever you are. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Where are you? Don't be scared. You can do it. I believe in you. 3, 2, 1. Wow. I know some of you were out there singing, and I appreciate you. Thank you. But his eyeballs didn't come back, and he was waiting and searching. But Eagle said, I told you, I was given the gift of far sight. Eagle flew off, and Trickster was standing there a little embarrassed. Where are my eyeballs, he thought. So he grabbed a little tiny crystal, he put it into his eye. But everything was too small and far away. So he grabbed a great big boulder and he stuck it in the other eye. He had one little eye and one big eye, and he was trying to balance it out, kind of like having 90-50 vision, or 90-10 vision, or 50-10, however you want to see it. And as he was bumping into this and bumping into that, he bumped into something and it was Giant's leg. "What are you doing?" said Giant. "Can't you see where you're going? Don't you have any?" "Trickster, where are your eyeballs?" Trickster looked up. "Oh, hello there, Giant. It is a beautiful day. I'm gonna go that way now." "Trickster, can't you see?" "Gee, don't you listen?" he said. He took his magic rattle back, and in one step, Giant was gone. And it is believed today that Trickster is still looking for his eyeballs, but that is another story. Thank you so much. Thank you. This ends our virtual storytelling event today. I'd like to thank you so much for allowing me to share the stories with you, allowing me to learn about the writing journey. And I would definitely love to open up any questions that you have about the stories or writing or anything that's on your heart right now. So thank you again.
If you guys do have questions, you can either unmute or you can put them in the chat over here. Okay. In the meantime, these are wonderful stories. I love them.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
like the
Thank you.
trickster.
He's so naughty. I know. The tricksters from all over. It's just wonderful that that is like a common thread among so many different nations, is hearing the trickster stories. And a lot of times, trickster is actually very, very clever. We like to think of him as kind of scrambling and silly, but he's very thoughtful. And in many of the stories, the lesson is not told by the storyteller. It's told by the story. And so whoever's listening to it, the lesson that they're meant to learn, maybe it was kindness, maybe it was listening, maybe it was remembering, or having respect. That's what you're meant to learn, and that's what I thought was really beautiful. Because at the end of, fables and fairy tales, we're meant to say, and that's why, XYZ lesson, that's what happens. But in our traditional storytelling, it's not that way. It's what you're meant to learn. And I've heard these stories all throughout my childhood. And I remember when I was in college in my first year, I called my parents because I had an epiphany that this was the true lesson. And I told my mom, and I was like, "Yeah, okay, did you know that this trickster story actually means this?" And she's like, "Yeah, did you get the second lesson?" And I'm like, "No, what is it?" And she never told me yet. I'm learning as I go, but I thought that that was really, because I thought I was so clever, and it had taken me so long to learn that. And that's the unique part of storytelling, is hearing them and understanding that the lesson is not is not is not meant to be learned. Sometimes you take away a good story. That's a good story. And some of that really resonates. Like, this is what I really needed to hear today, of why to have respect. A lot of times, even Giant represents or symbolizes our elders. And so when we kind of take apart the story, it all begins with, how do we treat our elders, and grabbing things and not listening and not taking time. Was that the lesson, or was it the fact that he was trying to do good things, like with Bear, and trying to be helpful, but in the end, did he help him get the fish? Like, there's so much beautiful lessons, lessons to unfold. I don't think we have any questions.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, but I thank you all for being here and for jumping on this Zoom call. I really appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful Native American Heritage Month. And today is Rock Your Mocks. So if you're at home or at school, slap on those moccasins, hashtag Rock Your Mocks, throw it in an Instagram story or on Facebook. We want to see this hashtag take off, because we've been doing it since, I think, 2013 was the first time that we heard of it, and we just love it so much. We make sure our kids go to school with their moccasins. And so if you're out there and you got a pair of moccasins, go ahead and rock them today, because that's a big part of Native American Heritage Month.
Okay. Sweet. Perfect. Since there's no questions, I do want to remind everybody, I'll put in the chat the link to the Native American Heritage Month website for the rest of the presentations and things that are coming up. Tomorrow, we have a premiere video that goes live with Tony Duncan, with Native American flute and dance performance. At the beginning of the month, if you missed the presentation on Native American rug weaving, Navajo weaving with Gerard Begay, that video is already up, and it was live streamed, so you should be able to watch it then. And then we've got a couple of movies, film presentations next week and the following week as well. So please watch out for those. If you're available to attend. Attend them, please. Okay. And then today's recording will also be available on that website as well. As soon as we can transcribe everything and get it all posted, we'll be able to do that. Thank you, everybody, for attending. We'll see you at the next one. Thank you, Violet.
Screenshot. Cool. Cool. Bye,
All right.
everyone.
Bye.